regardless, we are now here. We are not quite queer, but we have the purple gigantic money chest to open up. Good gracious day to you, my friend, and welcome back. So I'm sure you've been grinding the dungeon like crazy, like most of us have, and today we're actually going to be opening up the purple chest at the end of the dungeon, or the Bottomless Dungeons map. So basically I spent whatever gems I had at the time. I think it was like 300-ish gems on getting through this map as quickly as I could. Look at this! It's so long when you actually look at it. But 2,000 is what we need. Currently we've got 1,600, and as you can see we've got 2 of the major quests in the Bottomless Dungeon to do. So rather than us focusing on getting tons of kills in the dungeon, we're just going to be focusing on doing these quests, because these quests give you so many stepping stones, and that's what we need to open up that huge purple chest. So mainly it's going to be defeat 12 dragons with a weak attack that we're probably going to end up taking advantage of here. But anyway, we have a brawl to restart. So again, the way that I've been doing it is I've been putting HIIII in the first slot, Joko in the second slot, leaving the third slot open. And this means that I can do the multi-hit quests really easily. And it does mean that they use the third dragon sort of as cannon fodder, which is pretty cool. I appreciate that quite a lot. But overall, I'm already starting to get to the point where I'm like, oh god, I need to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. So I'm not sure how interesting this new dungeon's going to be in the long term. It's obviously given us quite a lot of stuff to do in its immediate first iteration. But it's very possible that we might get super bored of it. Maybe it'll turn out like the other dungeon, which was interesting for a grand total of about 2 days, and then we just sort of got over it. But regardless, you can get some incredibly good items out of this dungeon, so maybe that's gonna, you know, spur people to keep doing it, because there's nothing worse than having to do super grindy events over and over again, but you actually don't get anything for it. That is the worst by far. And luckily for us, we actually get tons of good stuff, so it is really not too big of a deal. But seeing all of our poor little weak dragons die over and over again is quite depressing, not going to lie. It's just like you watch them endlessly get tortured, basically. It's not a very nice thought. It's like you send them in just to be destroyed. How upsetting. So we need to do 8 more kills or get 5 more dual kills. Oh god, these quests. Sometimes you'll get certain quests and they will just take for ages to actually clear out. But I digress. We keep going, keep trying our best. And these double kills do end up helping us out quite a lot, of course. They help us out a ton, in fact. I am trying to weaken the dragons, but not quite kill them off, so that then we can get the kill with our lantern dragon. Doesn't always work out that way, but that is the general plan with this. And I'm still working out whether I want HIIII in the first slot or if I want Joko in the first slot for now. That is while the team is the way that it is, of course. And that will be subject to change TM very soon. But this is what I've been doing so far just to get the quest done. Again, this isn't the sort of team that you'd want to use if your primary objective is to get as many KOs as you possibly can. The main objective of this team is purely to get the task done in this way. I don't know why I chose Joko really instead of our Autumn Dragon. It just sort of ended up that way, to be honest with you. So yeah, I guess we'll do the dual hit quest here. Easy enough. In fact, we'll kill all 3 of them. Why not? One thing that I'm not enjoying in this dungeon is the fact when it says something like, do X kill with a strong attack or with a weak attack. I don't believe it counts any of the infection damage which is kind of like, why the heck not? Why would you not count the infection damage? Can you please count the infection damage as, you know, helping with that quest? That would be marvelous, game. But I don't know, apparently they just don't want it to be like that. And it's sort of ticking me off. It's ticking me off. Not gonna lie. I just don't understand. I do not understand why. The infection just doesn't really help with anything. It's kind of annoying. Maybe then it would be too OP. I mean, plant's good enough as it is. Maybe that would just make it way too OP. I don't know. Either way, I'm slightly miffed. That's to put it mildly. But overall, I still don't really like using Dragon Fury all that much, especially if it one-shots everything. That's why sometimes I tend to, you know, leave it and only do a little bit. Sometimes I will just go ahead and kill an entire wave when I shouldn't. Because if you kill the full wave, they all respawn back and they're all at 100% capabilities, and that is no bueno. That is no bueno. But we should be able to get this quest done. Maybe we won't. Maybe we actually can't get this quest done quite yet. If that was the case, that would suck. That would royally suck. Because as you see now, we don't have the capability to get multiple hits twice. We can kill dragons with weak attacks, although these dragons are now much, much stronger than our main guys here. So this is basically how it works. It's just a lot of grinding, a lot of effort trying to do our best to clear these out while still not letting them murder us. But that doesn't bode too well quite a lot of the time. Let's use Dragon Fury and see if we can get these weak attacks up a little bit. Like, how much damage do we do to these guys now that they've spawned in? See, I don't feel like they should just be murdered like that. It seems like it's extra damage that I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know. Still a lot to learn about this dungeon, a lot of things to go through, and different strats that I'm sure over time we'll be made aware of. But in the meantime, that is how this team has done. But we've got another 400 quests to do at one point, and 20 normal attacks to do as well. I guess we did complete that other quest, it just takes time to go through on the server. I don't know, sometimes with these tasks, it's like you're doing them, and then you'll finish them, but then it doesn't say that you finished them straight away, and then you'll keep trying to do them, and it's like, oh no, your quest is actually something completely different now. Oh well, doesn't matter too much. Regardless, we are now here. We are not quite queer, but we have the purple gigantic money chest to open up. So there we go. That is 2,000, and we did not get the Doomsday Dragon out of this chest. But if you open this chest 15 times, which is quite ridiculous, then you are guaranteed a dragon reward. I would say spending 2,000 on all of that was probably not the greatest deal I've ever done in my life. We can choose between 4 dragon tickets or 125 dungeon tokens. Dragon tickets can be really good sometimes, but we can also get them using dungeon tokens and other things and Walmart deals. So I'm going to go with the dungeon tokens instead, because the dungeon tokens themselves sometimes can get us some cool stuff. So either you can grind in this purple chest the entire week. No, I am not going to buy dungeon currency, but you can grind in this all week, complete it 15 times, hope that you get the Doomsday before then. If not, you're gonna have to open it 15 times before that happens. But in the meantime, if you don't want to be spending all that money on that super expensive chest, just go back and complete some of the other chests. Like, you've got a little red chest, you've got the blue chest, even this chest here gives an extra 50 dungeon tokens. That ain't too shabby. I'm gonna take the extra 50. It seems like that chest opening that we got was actually kind of a really, really crappy one, but but some of the other drops have been really good. Some of the drops in the blue chests in particular have also been pretty top tier. So I think, before I do anything else, I think my next chest that I'm going to open is probably going to be this blue chest down here. And then maybe we'll open the other blue chest, although it's quite expensive. But now we can go back to the earlier stages as well, and these chests will be really cheap because of the overall tile costs and everything. Although apparently everyone's getting different tile costs at the moment. I'm not sure what the problem is. I have been getting different tile costs on Android compared to PC as well. So that is something that quite a few people have been reporting, along with, you know, the laggy actual quests completion stuff. So, you know, new events, stuff is gonna be a little bit iffy at first, seemingly, but do remember, it's only just come out. Hopefully all of these problems and that get fixed in the near future. But if you do find any problems, make sure you report them to Gameloft, because there's no point just, you know, feeling sorry for yourself and complaining, but not actually reporting it to them. Because otherwise, well, they're not gonna know how to fix it and not gonna know exactly what the issue is. So if enough people report in that, you know, we're getting X problem, then that helps them quite a lot in determining what they're gonna do. And I'm actually gonna sleep soon because it is 3 in the morning. Can you believe it? It's 3 in the morning, or 2:46 AM to be precise. And apparently I'm still on here doing the dungeon. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Don't ask. Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to. That's the general rule that I like to live by. But, you know, even though we've got all that bottomless dungeon stuff, we do have the breeding blitz event to do as well, which is what I'm breeding for in the breeding den currently. But do remember that during this breeding blitz event, I really don't like the timing for this, because if you manage to breed Gemini Alpha, it's going to screw you over during the Dragon's Delight event. But if you do want to try and breed Gemini Alpha, you can get it with the Ice of the Sunflower Dragons. Your chances are not particularly high. It's like all of the breeding blitz events, your chances are super low. You might get them, you might not, but chances are you're probably not going to get them. And I'm unsure if there's an extra reroll percentage chance, because I haven't actually read up on it yet. But I wouldn't recommend going into this breeding blitz event if you already have the dragon. Only do this breeding blitz event if you are absolutely desperate to get that Gemini Alpha dragon, because again, if you actually want to get some decent points on the Dragon's Delight event, you don't want to be missing out on the consistent breed dragons points at all. That would absolutely suck. So keep all of that in mind when you are taking part in these events, castle events, things like that. Make sure that you pay attention to what's going on with the breeding, because if you breed that legendary, it's not like it just screws you over for a couple of resets. It screws you over for ages, and then plus it gets into your hatchery as well. Maybe you need the hatchery to put dragon eggs in, although that's probably just poor management from you anyway if you allow that to get in the way. But it is things, or everything combined is just all these little things that you need to consider and make sure that you're on top of, so that you give yourself the best chances of winning the event. And plus, you're going to be logging in like every hour for the Dragon's Delight event. It's just quite a lot to keep track of at the moment. You know, we've got the 6-hour cooldowns for the dungeon, we've got the 6-hour cooldowns for the Dragon's Delight, we've got the 1-hour cooldowns for the Dragon's Delight, you've got the clan quest, so that's like every 2 hours depending on the event. It's just an awful lot of keeping track of certain things, and I feel like at this point, you know, I've always said that giving us extra events, I'm not particularly against it, but like a lot of people, I've always been someone that goes out of my way to try and finish every single event in game if I can, and I feel like we're getting to a point where that's just not humanly possible. Like, I'm quite lucky that at the moment I've got, you know, the capability to do quite a lot of the events, but sometimes, say, you have to go somewhere for a week, like that screwed me over during the Divine event a little bit. It's just like, oh, you've got literally anything to do for longer than 2 days? Well, that's too bad. Looks like your event progress is gonna get screwed, boy. You know, and that does feel pretty bad when that happens. It just feels like... This also feels pretty bad when this happens. Are you kidding me, gang? Ay, 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 caramba. I'm not even gonna look at this. I'm not even dealing with this yet. I'm gonna deal with that by myself. Of course, as soon as I drop something, it just doesn't work out. Screw you, Dragon's Delight events. Screw you so much. I still want that pipe dragon though, so I'm going to go and do it. Poor Mr. Circus. Luckily for me though, since I joined this like 6 hours late, so far, no one has spent their way to win in this event so far. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay that way. But it's a lot better than usual because if you don't actually begin these Dragon's Delight events and leaderboard events for a few hours, you tend to get either the less active people or the people that aren't on the game 24 hours a day and that spend £2 billion a month. So, it seems like we could possibly have a chance considering I've got quite a lot of daubs at the moment because I just haven't really been bothered to log in and do it. Dragon's Delight events, probably one of my least favourite in the entire game, events-wise. Isn't that right, Mr. Kronos? Please get your cooldown back. I need it desperately. Yeah, don't look at that dragon either. But anyway, for now, I am going to be going and sleeping soon when everything is sorted. But for now, I wish you the best of luck with all of your dungeon stuff. I hope that you get some good drops in these chests and don't get screwed over royally for the whole week. Remember, we still got 5 days left. You got ages to go through and try and finish everything. I only went through nice and quick for the sake of science. I will not be doing this probably ever again because I refuse to waste all of my gems in this fashion at any point. And again, I didn't put any money on, I just used the gems I already had, gems that I got from the ruins and things like that. So, yeah, I'm not gonna spend on the dungeon, don't worry, I'm not quite that sad yet. But anyway, for now, thank you for joining me, I appreciate you being here, and until next time, I will see you then.